are the biggest crash outs in NHL history. And first up, we got Sid Crosby crashing out over Ovechkin's slash.
The slash that got him as Ovechkin got him right in the thumb, it looked like to me there.
Listen, it might not look that bad, but hockey stick to wrist, where it's just skin and bone, that's gotta hurt a bit. But it hurt Sid so bad that he just lost it. Sure, he held it together on the ice the second he got off.
And at the end, the stick will not live to fight another day. Hopefully Crosby will.
The announcer is wrong for that petty-ass comment. But when Ryan Reeves crashed out, the announcers barely even care. And it wasn't just a crash out. It was a full heavyweight title match in the middle of the ice. Literally not even 90 seconds into the game, Ryan Reeves and Mathieu Olivier locked eyes off the draw. And that's all it took for the gloves to drop and just go crazy on each other.
Has Reeves off balance, but...
Bro, Reeves is 38 and still throwing hands like he's 20. What a beast. Prime example why the NHL should never get rid of fighting. Honestly, I could watch that all day. But not every great crash shot happens on the ice. Because when Drew Doughty got called into the penalty box on a bad call, he completely lost it.
They're bullying you! What a throw! Why win? Grab a stick for sakes! Watch it, you asshole!
Man, those fans were doing too much with the rage bait. I love it. But one time, it wasn't the fans doing the rage bait. It was the refs. Because when Henrik Lundqvist's own teammate crashed into him, not only did he lose his stick, but he also got injured. And obviously there'd be a whistle for that, right? No, so Lundqvist decided he'd just force one.
A shift, and Lundqvist wanted a whistle and didn't get it, so he does this.
Not really sure what the plan was here, but hey, at least he got his whistle. But no whistle would have stopped this next fight, because during Game 2 of the 2023 playoffs, the Oilers were absolutely drilling the Knights 5-0. And by the end of the second period, tensions were peaking so high that both Bretts just snapped. After a quick scuffle, Howden and Kulak just dropped the gloves and started throwing haymakers.
Yep. We're both used to this stuff.
But while they were reenacting a WWE match, Evander Kane was giving Keegan Colasar the beatdown of his life.
Are up. Oh, Kane's got somebody down. He's throwing punches. The temperature of this series just went up.
Yeah, no kidding. Bro was getting used like a punching bag, and Kane didn't even deny it. During the post-game interview, he looked straight at the cameras and went,
You also don't see a lot of guys getting jumped from behind and headlocked, and then, when you want to around, sometimes you got to find out, so that's what happened.
That's hard. But not every crash out is nearly as fun to watch, because when the Dallas Stars lost to the Blues in 22, it wasn't a player that lost it. See, the Stars were up 1-0 for like half the game, so a dub looked pretty obvious. But in the final minute, in the span of just 18 seconds, the Blues scored twice and won. And Stars coach Rick Bowness just flipped out.
You get the breaks, other times you don't get the breaks, and Rick Bowness not happy, and I have to say this.
Low-key, that's kind of embarrassing. Bro didn't even dent the stick. It ain't obvious to show him how it's done. Because after Ilya Samsonov fumbled the puck against the Bruins, basically gave them a free goal. And even though it was an objectively dumb play, Alex Ovechkin wanted Ilya to know what he really thought.
Smith on his toes, fusion for Justin Schultz.
Love how the team barely reacts to it too. Like, yep, there he goes again. But there's one crash out that was totally unexpected. Because even though Pavel Bure was called the Russian Rocket, in 1994, he looked like he was part of the Russian Mafia. Because he elbowed Shane Churla so hard, he was knocked out cold.
Look at this, elbow right to the head.
Bro was already in the shadow realm before anyone realized what happened. But the craziest part? Pavel only got fined $500 and wasn't even penalized. And that's just insane behavior on the ref's part. But not nearly as insane as Pekka Rinne's meltdown. Honestly though, it was extremely valid, because it was Game 7. The score was 4-0, and Rinne's defense had basically given up. So when Patrick Marleau doinked the 5th shot in, Rinne absolutely lost it.
And there's what he's going through. And the change.
Dude sent that stick halfway back to Finland. But that's actually light rage compared to Andrew Shaw's crash out. When the Canadians played the Ducks in 2016, Andrew Shaw got tagged with a hooking penalty. But instead of using the time to cool off, he decided to turn the penalty box into his own personal rage room.
You get your stick up. Shaw's not happy as he destroys that stick in the box. You see the frustration. You're battling.
Bro, that attendant looks scared for his life. But I'd rather be in that box than in an argument with Sean Avery.
Well, everyone talks about how unclassy I am, and Fatso there just forgot to shake my hand, I guess, so.
Because if it isn't evident from him calling Martin Brodeur a fatso, Sean's entire thing was stirring the pot. And that's what made him so much fun to watch. His crash outs weren't even real. It was all performance, all just to get inside the other team's head. I mean, ultimately, he was just the most pure troll in the NHL. He made some wild call-outs on camera.
I'm really happy to be back in Calgary. I love Canada. I just wanted to comment on how it's become like a common thing in the NHL for guys to fall in love with my sloppy seconds.
That's diabolical. But he didn't stop there. He'd even act like he was so angry he was about to commit murder during games.
Like, I really don't want to kill Giroux tonight.
But Sean's funniest, most insane moment of all time? The infamous stick-waving incident.
After the point man, it's Yager. Dottie Gomez in the ring. Yager again.
Dude couldn't figure out how to help the team, so he went f*** it and just started waving a stick around like a maniac. And the craziest part is that it actually worked. Sean literally buzzed around his face like a mosquito and distracted him so hard that on the next play, Sean got the score. But that tactic worked so well, it was so annoying, that the NHL made a whole new rule to stop it. Bro was a straight menace on the ice. But you don't need to be on the rink to have a complete meltdown, because no one is immune to playoff pressure. And in 2002, during the Eastern Conference semifinal, it even got to Doug Gilmour. You know a dude's pissed when he barely even reacts to shattering a glass wall. But seeing Gilmour crash out was way more rare than this next player, because no player embodies the term crash out more than Tuukka Rask. I mean, this guy's entire career was basically one long crash out.
And the reaction from Tuukka Rask.
My New York.
Now that is some passion. Bro doesn't even notice how mad he gets sometimes. Like when he accidentally slashed a player mid-freakout.
Yeah, Rask was going to bang the post. He was not going to slash Chris Versteeg.
And a lot more of them are definitely not on accident.
Opportunity to jump past. Bruins want to continue to play the right way and continue to amass points. Tampa.
But by far, Rask's wildest crash out ever, losing the shootout against the Montreal Canadiens.
Thought the shot hit the post, but the ref says that was the winning shot. And Rask just goes off right here where it falls down.
That was some greatest freakout ever type rage. But sometimes, that type of anger is pretty understandable, especially when the winning goal happens this close to time running out.
Go, fed across, drive, stop! Oh, baby, it's gonna count!
That's gotta be one of the closest goals I've ever seen. But Martin Brodeur didn't even think it was a goal, because right as the puck flew, Jokinen bumped into Brodeur. And Brodeur thought it was obvious interference, so he went to argue it with the refs. But when he didn't get the answer he wanted, he just completely crashed out.
Contact! And Marty just slashing his stick. I'm telling you.
To be fair, if I were one of the best of all time and still could have stopped that, I'd also walk out. But not all great players need to walk out to crash out. One time, Claude Lemieux did it while sitting down. See, Brett Lindros is already getting into it with Scott Stevens.
Boom, a cross check. Stevens wraps him in. Watch Lemieux.
But one-on-one is way too boring for Claude Lemieux. He wanted to get in on the action. Pulled a super fast one on Lindros.
What's that sneaky?
See, this is what makes hockey great. No flopping, no crying, just violence and ice. And in the old days, they took violence to a different level. Because before there was malice at the palace in the NBA, in 1979, there was the melee at the MSG and the NHL. See, goalie Gary Cheevers made a game-saving stop.
Side in alone. Cheevers saves.
After the save, both teams circled up, chirping at each other. But nothing got too out of hand at first. Because with Al Seacurt and Frank Beaton, the chirping got a little too aggressive. They almost fought until a ref separated them. The crowd was not satisfied. They wanted blood. So one Rangers fan rolled up a program, whacked Stan Jonathan over the head, and the entire Bruins team crashed out.
And Seacurt. As the fans are now getting involved, as O'Reilly is out into the stands.
I mean, the fans got the blood they wanted. They probably just didn't expect it to be their own. But while the rest of the Bruins were fighting half of New York, Mike Milbury and Peter McNabb wanted to pull a tag team special. So they went up to the stands, pinned the guy to the seats, and we got the infamous shoe incident.
And you gotta worry.
I don't know what happened there. I just had a brain cramp and grabbed his shoe, shitty little penny loafer, and hit him on the thigh.
Turns out New Yorkers aren't as tough as they think. I mean, getting whipped with their own shoe has got to be one of the most humiliating things ever. But after the brawl, Bruins got the real humiliation. Terry O'Reilly was suspended for 8 games. Milbury and McNabb were both hit with 6, and all got hit with a $500 fine. I bet Nazem Kadri wished he had only got hit with fines. Because Nazem Kadri isn't your typical crash-out player. He's never just had one infamous moment like Milbury. He's had, let's just say, a few. To be fair, when your teammates are getting beaten up on, sometimes nothing solves it like a good crash-out.
The action of Nazem Kadri seeing this hit, seeing 74, and he went right at him.
But that wasn't the only time, because when Chara and Wingles hit Marner, Kadri came in to absolutely board Wingles.
Kadri didn't like that, and so he comes after Wingles.
Unsurprisingly, Kadri got suspended 3 games for that one. I mean, Pro basically pancaked Wingel's face. But Kadri's worst crash out? Just a casual sucker punch on Nicolas Delorier.
Glove saved by Grubauer.
But even though that was the most random rage moment, it's nothing new for Kadri. Dude's whole thing is get angry, crash out, and then act confused when the refs call it. And apparently that's a pretty popular strategy. Because Seabrook kinda has the same mindset as Nazem Kadri. Make a crazy head.
Lefty for the book at him.
Then crash out on the refs right after.
With their arms in the air, Seabrook is back up.
But when he hit Patrick Berglund, he didn't even bother jawing at the refs. He just crashed out on the entire team.
Oh, and Berglund was just hammered. And now, Heron goes back at...
Yeah, Torres doesn't give a single fuck. But that mindset is exactly what's landed him in hot water over the years. Because not only did he get hit with a 25-game suspension in 2012, but in 2015, the mother of all suspensions got handed out. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that this is the hit that did it. Like, sure, that's definitely a nasty one, but bro got hit with a 41-game ban for that, the longest in league history. But it just goes to show how often he's the offender for violent hits like that. If they gotta shut you down for half the season, maybe it's time to take some anger management classes. But for some players, anger management would probably make the issue worse. Because when it comes to pent-up anger, there's one little scrappy guy that comes to everyone's mind, Ty Domi. See, whereas most players on this list got pushed to their limits before throwing hands, Domi was pretty much always at his limit, just waiting for someone brave enough to try him. I mean, he's thrown dual haymakers at 2 guys. And gone on absolute rampages against Bob Probert.
Got the boxing gloves on. He is ready for...
That's an insane amount of punches just to take, like he barely even felt them. But those are just classic hockey fights. One time, Domi legit crashed out because of a crash out. And to his defense, he was actually in the middle of calming down when it happened, because he had just been sent to the penalty box for beating down Luke Richardson. And he was probably expecting just to wait out the time in peace. But the fans weren't about to let that happen.
Heckled by some flyers.
At first, it was nothing, but one fan in particular got tired of being soaked. And when he lunged at Domi, he learned very quickly why there's barriers between you and the zoo animals.
And then here comes Chris Falcone of Havertown. He's over the glass breaks. Domi pulls the sweater down and starts to pummel him.
That had to be the most satisfying punch in Domi's career. But one punch straight up ended a career. And it came straight from Todd Bertuzzi, the type of guy everyone hates to play against, but loves to watch.
Laser beams. This is Bertuzzi looking at Setaguchi across the ice. And you're dead seems to be what he's mouthing.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you usually only see in movies, which is actually fitting, because in 2004, Todd Bertuzzi had one of the most surreal crash outs in NHL history. See, on February 14th, 2004, at the Avalanche Center, Steve Moore injured Canucks team captain Marcus Naslund. But it wasn't just a love tap.
Steve Moore better be a marked man now every time he...
Yeah, no call on that is a little insane. But whether it was legal or not didn't really matter. By the rematch 5 days later, everyone on the Canucks wanted payback, especially Todd Bertuzzi. And man, did he get it.
It goes down here, Bertuzzi goes after him, and he lands on him right there.
Bertuzzi gave him the ultimate sucker punch. Behind the hold, holding him steady, then driving his body into the ground.
Whack! And piling on is Andrei Nikolic, and everybody's in...
Yeah, things got ugly real quick. But when Moore's diagnosis came back, they got even uglier. Bertuzzi hadn't just knocked him out. He fractured 3 vertebrae, caused nerve damage, facial cuts, and a grade 3 concussion. And Moore's career finished. Shockingly though, not Bertuzzi's. Sure, he was suspended for the rest of the season, through the playoffs and even overseas, then spent a decade buried under a $68 million lawsuit from Moore. But Bertuzzi actually came back the very next year. I mean, he was nowhere near his former self, but his career kept going, even if he had ended someone else's. But that violent hit only ended the victim's career. Marty McSorley, he had a crash out that led to legitimate criminal charges. See, Marty made a living being the ultimate enforcer throughout the 80s, and the idea of someone stealing the spotlight from him was basically unthinkable. But in the early 90s, the unthinkable became reality when Donald Brashear entered the league.
When I got in the league, I was younger, and he was at the end of his career. He wanted my respect. I couldn't show him any respect, and I was fighting him a lot. I was having good fights against him.
Donald's being humble here, because he didn't just have good fights with McSorley, he racked up win after win against him. And there wasn't really anything McSorley could do but watch as his reputation fell apart. It got so bad that he'd fight Brashear multiple times a game just to lose all of them. So McSorley's rage just built for years, until one fateful night in 2000.
Marty McSorley, and Brashear has become an all-around player this season.
And with that body slam, McSorley took the last loss of his career. He tried getting Brashear into more fights, but he wouldn't bite.
I beat him once already in that game. I taunted their bench. I mean, I got everything I wanted out of that game. There's no real sense to get into a fight.
Listen, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, at a certain point, fighting someone weaker than you just looks bad. So after he kept getting turned down, McSorley just lost it. And with just 4.6 seconds left in the game, McSorley finally snapped.
McSorley is out there as well. Oh, McSorley.
Oh, McSorley.
And that was the last hit of his career. The NHL immediately suspended him for the rest of the season and then extended it to a full year. But it didn't stop there. McSorley even got charged in court for assault with a weapon, got convicted, and spent 18 months on probation. Dude literally ended his entire career just because he couldn't handle an L. But one crash out didn't just involve two players, because during the Sabres brawl of 2007, everyone was going at it. And it all started when Chris Drury took a nasty hit.
Shot the puck, and Neal, when Drury was not...
After he went down, Stafford wasted zero time avenging the hit. And Stafford's crash out wasn't just valid, it was the only justice that even happened, because somehow Chris Neal got no penalty for his hit on Drury. So as you might imagine, that left the Sabres pretty pissed. But to make things worse, before the next shift, the Senators send out their best line. In response, Buffalo sends out Peters, Mayer, and Coletta. And when the game started again, the Sabres got down to business and started a full organization crash out. Then Sabres goalie Baron takes his gloves off and goes after Ray Emery. Peters sees this commotion, goes to help out, and starts another fight. You know you've probably picked the wrong guy when he's just cheesing the whole time. But the peak of it all, while all the players were fighting and the cameras were locked in on the ice, the coaches had their own crash outs too. That's the closest to full-blown anarchy I've ever seen any sport get. But let's be real, it was fucking awesome.